we're taking back more of our time and energy into our own control.
Sometimes I overpromise too much.
I want to be producing documentaries, right? I want to be making short films.
I think that was honestly the turning point for Rockrose.
Perception is reality. Everybody is involved in making the decision of where it is that we want to go.
What if the market crashes? This hire will probably be one of the biggest hires that we will ever make.
Let's
Podcast.
Yes, sir, the podcast. We're podcasting.
We're back.
We're podcasting.
Episode 2.
Episode 2, baby. We made it.
We're back. Yes,
Mama,
sir.
we done it. Yes, sir.
We are back. Yeah.
Cool.
Let's go for it.
I was gonna ask, what are we going through today?
Today, we talked about a few things, but we want to go into why we made the decision to cut down essentially almost more than half of our client.
More than half, yeah.
More than half of our clients. We want to go into a little bit into where we're headed from a overall content management perspective and one key hire that we're going to be making here within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. So today we're going to be going through why we made the decision to make the client cut down. Really just diving deep on that. What our vision for the future, like the strategic vision and just the vision for the future of Rockrose Productions is. And then going over the client content director, like what that position is going to look like and why we're hiring that person, what we're looking for in that person. And yeah, so with the client cut down,
we sent that out last week.
Yeah, last week
Friday.
This has been something that we've talked about as a team for over a year, going back and forth. Like every month we have a team meeting. Well, every 3 months we set what are called OKRs, objectives and key results. And then every month, at the end of the month, we all come together as a team for a few hours to zoom out, look at the business, talk about what's going on, what are the problems we're running into, what are the opportunities that we have for improvement. And consistently for 10 to 12 months straight, this was a big topic of conversation, is we need to free up more of our time, like be more selective with who we work with and cut down the client base. And it was really hard for us to finally pull the trigger and make it happen because we have a tendency to say yes to everything and want to help everybody. But yeah, we realized that just wasn't sustainable, right? With what we want to do in this business and what we had recognized with the value of content management and that service and where we want to go as a business, we recognized that just wasn't, like we had to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's, how do you think clients are handling it? Clients that were cut off?
I mean, I think the only feedback that I got was pretty positive from it.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I did have some people reach out to me that were on the cut down list. Dude, they still book shoots.
How do they book shoots still? What do you mean? They just
I'm not going to say their names, but yeah, they book shoots.
Okay, well, we need to fix that.
Yeah. I'm excited for it, though. I think it's ultimately going to free up so much time. I think where we're going as a business, we have so many opportunities right now, and it's crazy, I think, from overall commercial production perspective. But I mean, just how much more value we're going to be able to provide to our clients. And I think we talked about this on the last podcast, but the only value that we can really provide to our clients right now from I think an overall, from the traditional route that we were going as a business,
real estate photography and
videography. We were going to help you.
Yeah.
We were going to provide you with photos, and then we hope you sell the house. That's all we could do.
That's the cap. There's a cap on the value that we can provide, right?
Right.
And just like trying to keep this little like organized, right? So the reason why we had these discussions and wanted to make this cut down of our client list, right, is to free up more time and resources to be able to apply that time and energy to the content management division and the commercial productions division of our business. And as we're talking about it right now, I'm realizing like with the client cut down, we're taking back more of our time and energy into our own control, right? It's not just like an endless amount of shoots or just getting booked on our calendar nonstop, right? We have more time that we get to decide how we're going to use it. And ultimately the decision that we made on how we're going to use that time is we're going to allocate more of that time and energy to the content management and commercial productions divisions of our business, right? But going back to the point, right, the number one reason why we are transitioning from a real estate photography and videography company to content management being our core service and like just being a two-pronged business, right? A content management business and a commercial productions division. But those are the two divisions in our business. We'll get to that when we talk about the future plan for Rockrose. But the number one reason why, right, why content management is going to be our core service is the amount of value that we can provide, right? With real estate photography and videography, there's a cap, right? No matter how good we get at taking pictures of houses, taking videos of houses, real estate photography, videography. The maximum value we can provide with those services is helping that agent sell that one house, maybe for a little bit more money.
Right.
But with social media content, with content management, in helping businesses grow their reach on social media and convert that reach into new clients and customers for their business, if we can turn social media into a lead generating machine for a business, that can transform companies, right? Like that, there is no cap on the value that we can provide. The better we get, the more value we provide, right? So that was the number one reason why.
Just to kind of also, if anyone is listening to this, it may sound that all we are trying to do is do social media content for real estate agents or local businesses. But I think a big emphasis of what we're trying to do is we are trying to provide more value just through, I think, overall video content. So for example, if a real estate agent or a business or whatever they may try, whatever they're trying to do,
whatever their business is,
we want to provide more than just real estate listing content. So what that looks like is a company profile video, or that could be an overall branding video. It could be
like client testimonials.
Exactly.
Like if you have a really interesting story that you want us to come in and tell, right? Like I want to be producing documentaries, right? I want to be making short films.
Yeah.
Like I want to be, like we did that docu-series last year for BSL, and that was so much damn fun. Like we learned so much through that process, and doing those types of projects will just stretch us so much more creatively, just so much more challenging, and we learn so much more. They're exciting, they're fun.
I think that was honestly the turning point for Rockrose.
I think looking back, it was at that time was the same time that we started working with Brock, the first client for content management as well. Like it was definitely a big inflection point. Like that was the biggest commercial productions project that we'd ever gotten, hands down. Yeah. And then that was the same month, within the same like 50-day period, we got our first content management client as well. Yeah. We didn't do it.
Thinking back to that, just how much we briefly talked about this in the last podcast, but just how much has changed. Yeah. And I think that's opened up our eyes to just how many more opportunities are in the commercial productions and just overall content management space, because goddamn, I'm not going to lie, shooting real estate,
it's exhausting.
It's exhausting sometimes.
Yeah. And there's like, the timelines are so tight. Like I love being able that we can help the people that we do in real estate, like working with the agents, working with the homeowners to help them get really high quality stuff to help them sell their house. But it is exhausting, right? And like we looked at it in all those conversations with our team about, okay, if we stay a real estate photography and videography company, like really what it came down to is we realized we were building 3 separate businesses, right? Within Rockrose Productions. We were building the real estate photography and videography, the content management business, and the commercial productions business. And we made the decision that one of them has to go. Right, like one of them's gonna have to not go completely.
Yeah. Just for anyone that's listening, for not
what's gonna end up happening is real estate photography and videography is just gonna get folded into our commercial productions division.
Yes.
So like we're just narrowing it down into 2 divisions with 2 different teams. But
we also don't want to be a commodity business.
Right.
We don't want to work with everyone at this point, because we want to keep, not that we're gonna have a small team, but we want to keep our team to a smaller number so we can, I don't know,
just keep the team smaller, right? Like I don't want to have 35
photographers. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine having 20 photographers.
Yeah, it'd be wild.
You got to go back and shoot the bathroom.
Yeah.
All
the time.
Can you change the colors on the photos?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's just so, like with real estate photography, it's just, there's only so, you can only get so creative with, 4 walls and a roof. And, the timelines in real estate are so fast, right? And like you have to meet those. Like photos got to be turned around the next day. Real estate videos need to be turned around in 3 days because the house is going live on Thursday, right? Like the house is going, and I get it. Like it's part of the industry, and we have to meet that. But it's stressful. But I think we should kind of dial back in here and like go through in order, like the reasons why we are making this switch in our business, right? Number 1, we talked about the amount of value we can provide, right? With turning social media into a lead generating machine for a business versus real estate photos and videos. Like the amount of value we can provide with social media is uncapped and like 100x that of real estate photography and videography, right? Number 2 is with building more of a content management focused business, right? We're going to be able to work with a smaller, more intimate set of clients, like a smaller client base, and have stronger relationships with them. Which is something that we care about so much, right? That's how our entire business has been built from the very beginning is just through relationships, right? Like we haven't spent a dime on marketing. I don't think we've never done I don't think we've gotten a single project through outbound sales.
No.
Right. Like we haven't gone to anybody and been like cold.
I mean, we've gotten a lot of our clients, not going to lie, through social media.
Yeah. Through social media.
I mean, honestly, being able to take what we've learned and being able to apply that to our clients.
Yeah, for sure. That's the whole, that's why we started it to begin with. But, like we care so much about having strong relationships with the people that we work with and the clients that we partner up with. And with real estate, like if we were to scale a business like that, we would need thousands of clients, and it's just impossible to have meaningful relationships with thousands of people, right? So with content management, we can keep the book of the clients that we work with, to under 100, keep that a lot more intimate. Okay, number one, the amount of value we can provide. Number two, we're going to be able to work with a much smaller set of clients, have more meaningful relationships with those clients. Number three, and this was a big one that came up because like the growth of our business is in our control more, right? And the outcomes that we achieve for our clients is more in our control. Like with real estate, photography, and videography, like we are. This kind of blends with also the predictability of it, right? Like with a business with content based around content management and these partnerships and these retainers, our business is a lot more predictable, right? Like we know how many shoots we're going to have next month. We know how many shoots we're going to have 2 months from now, right? We know what we're going to need to do, and we can better prepare for that. And our business just becomes more systematized, processed, like with a process built around it. But
I mean, going off of that too, I mean, in the past, I mean, our business was solely dependent off of when a real estate agent gets a listing, we're there. Yeah. We can't control when a real estate agent has a listing.
Right.
And being able to control when we shoot for our clients, that we control all the deadlines. That is going to be incredible.
Yeah.
Being so able to actually get ahead and
we control the outcome, right? Like with real estate agent, like we were, like they sell the house, they get the listing, and then they book us. Right. Now we control more.
Well, I mean, even take into account, I mean, what if the market crashes?
Yeah, the real estate market goes down. Yeah. And that's another reason, right? Like our business is a lot more stable, and a lot more predictable. Because in Wisconsin, right, the real estate market is really hot in the summer, and then there's not many, like I think we did the numbers, right? I think we shoot from November, December, January, February, like of the whole year, it's like 15% of our projects come through those 4 months. And then it's something like 65% of our projects come from June, July, August.
Also thinking October. About it, I mean, if we want to do $50,000 in real estate, think about how many shoots that is.
I know. Yeah. And that was
where everything becomes a lot more achievable. It feels where if we want to get to $50,000 in content management.
It's just working with less people. It's just working with less clients, having stronger relationships, right? Just kind of going back to that point.
Yeah.
But also I think another thing right now, like stumbling into this, just the overall demand for content right now is unbelievable. Like everybody wants content. Everybody wants content.
Everyone and their mom wants a podcast.
Yeah, everybody and their mother wants a podcast. Everybody and their mother wants content right now. It's unbelievable. Like the demand for it is crazy. Like there hasn't been a single person that we've brought it up. Welcome to the podcast. There hasn't been a single person that we've presented content management to that wasn't at least somewhat interested. Right? Like nobody's been like, no, I don't want content. I've never heard anybody be like, no, I don't want content.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing too. I don't want social media.
Zero marketing.
We haven't spent a dime on marketing. We haven't done any outbound sales, right? Like everybody's just come to us, but I think that's almost something that we might need to change. Like we need to like take that back into more of our control of like who we're working with and the projects we're working on.
Even going into that a little bit further, I mean, just with the overall demand, I mean, social media has literally become, it's another, what's the correct terminology? Like your business card, what is it? Your digital business card, where I feel as if there's so many businesses that have been around for so long where they don't know anything about social media, where they're looking for the people that are doing it, so they don't have to do it. They can hire it out, and I feel like I'm going
right. This isn't like brand new by any means, but a lot of businesses do a really bad
so many
job.
people
like
don't do it.
There's so many.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people that don't do it are real estate agents. I'm not gonna lie, and I feel like
it's every business.
Yeah, I mean, and so many people do a terrible job at it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because it takes a lot. It takes work, right? It takes a lot of work, and like if you want to do it really well, it takes expensive gear, like the stuff that we have here. Like if you want to do it at a high level, the stuff's expensive, but and it takes a lot of time, right?
And honestly, I think it is so important that you do it at a high level, because I mean, if a potential customer is looking at you, for example, and if you don't look great, I mean, you're probably not going to get great clients. Where I feel like I'm very particular about what our social media looks like, because I feel like how you market yourself is what you're going to get. If you want to work with people that are listing $100,000 houses, okay, and not there's anything wrong with that, but then you're probably going to be working with those people. But if you're consistently posting, I don't know, for us it's luxury houses, it's yachts, it's
perception is reality.
Exactly. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of on a tangent right now.
Yeah, all good. So that's like the reasons why we made the switch is the amount of value we can provide, the demand for it, the overall scalability of this type of business, the more predictability of this type of business. Like we have more of a recurring schedule that we can prepare for. We're not just like, we have more control over our calendar, right? And the work that we're doing, getting to work with a smaller set of clients, have stronger relationships, provide more value to those. Like I said, the demand is just off the charts.
Yes. Did we talk about team stability?
I mean, the team stability is just like with real estate, if we were to scale in that type of business in this market, we would not be able to carry the full roster of photographers that we would need throughout the winter. Yeah. Right. Like we would have to have like part-time employees, which would suck. Like I would not want that. Like I want everybody that's on our team to be fully engaged with what we're building here, fully a part of what we're building here, and care a lot about the mission that we're on, because everybody's a part of what we're trying to build, right? Everybody plays a really significant role in contributing to the decision on where we're going as a business. Like everybody in those meetings that I talked about earlier on, like everybody on the team is involved in those discussions. Our team is small. We have 8 people, soon to be 9. Later this year, it'll be 10 or 11, like whatever. Like our team is still very small. And Rockrose Productions as a business is a representation of all of us taking a bet on ourselves and being able to figure out where it is that we want to go, right? So like I said, I want everybody to be fully engaged and fully active and participating and care about this business. And I think that's really hard. Like, I don't think that would be possible if we had like 3 people on our team who were, hey, we're just going to have you around in the summer, and then in the winter, like you have to be like, we can't support it, right? Like if we were just all in on real estate, we would have to have part-time people. And that does not, in my mind, lead to people being super bought in. Yeah. It does not sound fun. It's like,
well, I think one thing too, I think that's super important to us is we want our staff or our guys or whoever,
our team,
to have a relationship with our clients. That's one thing that we take so.
We want it to be fun. We want everybody to have fun. Like we want everybody to enjoy what we're working on. Yeah. Right. Enjoy who we're working with. Have fun. Like that's such a big part of the creative process.
AJ
and
might transition into the contractor, right?
Yeah. Right. No. But no, AJ's gonna be our photo guy. But I want everything to be fun. Like working with our client. Like we want to work with fun clients on fun projects, with a team that has a lot of fun together, right? Like that's also a critical piece, and we'll get into that when we start talking about the client content director and what we're looking for. But with anybody that we got on the team, like that collegiality, right? Like talked about in that book over there. But like I want everybody to care about each other on this team, right? Enjoy each other, because that just means that we care about keeping this business alive, because this business is what brings us all together and keeps us together is through this business. So kind of, again, going back to where we're going as a business, and I liked kind of where I was trying to go there for a second, but
this business keeping us together.
Yeah, this business keeping us together, but what I was talking about is like everybody is involved in making the decision on where it is that we want to go, because the North Star, at least for me, and I know this is new for us, like clarifying what your mission and values in business is like super ethereal, and it's a lot harder than I would have imagined, and we realize that. But I found it gets clear every single time that we hire somebody new, because so much of the hiring process it's recruitment, right? It's recruitment. It's us selling them on our business and where we're going. So it forces us to articulate it and put it into words, and that in that process it becomes more clear. But
this next hire is going to be huge.
Yes, next hire is going to be massive. But as I was saying, like mission of Rockrose Productions in my mind, and as we've kind of started to all agree on, is like our North Star. I want Rockrose Productions to be a platform for creative people to do work that they love, because we are so lucky to wake up every day and do this for work, like work with cameras, like work with great clients, like do photography, videography, social media services. Like so many people do this as a hobby. And I think that's a really good indication that we're in a fortunate situation that we get to provide those opportunities for people to do work that they truly love doing. Like we can provide opportunities for people to turn a hobby into a profession and what they do for work, and do that more frequently. So if that's our North Star, right, is for us to wake up and like everybody on the team to be really excited by the work that we're doing, because I know that that's going to lead to the best quality of work. Everybody needs to be involved in where we're going, right, and care about that.
I think everyone is heavily involved right now, and I think that's honestly one of the great things about being so small and a small team right now. And honestly, having a small team, there are so many perks to it, because I mean, I feel like we're able to implement new strategies, where we're able to just change things so super fast nimble. In business. Where I mean, you have a huge business. Damn, the bureaucracy is crazy. Trying to train everyone on what it is that we're trying to do now is extremely difficult.
Our training could definitely use some work, though, for sure.
I mean,
nonetheless, but you're 100% right. Like, and we need to use that to our advantage, and we talk about that all the time.
Utilizing new tools,
especially with like, I know AI is just a huge buzzword and everything, but like we don't have the bureaucracy that gets in the way of a lot of the companies that my friends work at, that are just these massive organizations. Like a lot of my friends, they don't even allow them to use ChatGPT, which is crazy. Like that's been out for a year.
I honestly don't know what I would do with ChatGPT. What I would do without ChatGPT. I remember when I first started talking to ChatGPT, I was like, ChatGPT, can you please make these changes for me? I was talking to it like a real person, and like you do, but I mean, it is crazy.
No, things nuts. ChatGPT. And the people that don't use it, like it's I don't know.
Does your dad know what ChatGPT is?
I showed it to him, and he's been like, "That's crazy." My dad, I told you my dad wants to do a podcast, right? Yes, it would be amazing. It'd be great. It would be hilarious. It'd be hilarious. But just another testament to everybody wants a podcast. Everybody wants content, dude. But so using our size to our advantage, and just like that's something that we absolutely want to retain. So I think this is just a good segue to go into like the client content director position, right? Like what is this person going to be doing? What are we looking for in this person?
Well, I mean, with where we currently stand, I mean, this hire will probably be the biggest hire, one of the biggest hires that we will ever make. I think this is. I mean, this is going to transform. I think this is going to transform the content management section in this business. Absolutely. Right now. I mean, there are so many tasks I feel like that you do, but also myself do.
Yeah, and Gabriel.
That are going to free up so much time.
This one person's job is being done very poorly by 3 people right now.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's taking like 50% of my time, 25% of your time, 25% of Gabriel's time. And with everything that we've learned, right, just from hearing other people's advice, reading books, like one person needs to be responsible for a task or an outcome. Right. One person needs to be tied to an outcome.
But I mean,
to actually get done.
Do you want to go into briefly what they're going to be doing? Or
so the client content director, this person is going to be the leader of our content management division, right? This person is going to be the head of this division. They're going to be responsible for onboarding new clients. So when we get a new client in the content management division, they're going to take the client through that onboarding process, right? Get an understanding of who this client is, what their goals are, right? What their ideal outcomes are, who their target audience is, what they're going to be talking about in their content, and then taking that information and turning that into, and then building a content strategy for this client, right? And what is a strategy, right? I actually Googled this like a couple weeks ago because it's kind of a ethereal term in itself. A strategy is just like your plan for getting to the outcome that you want, right? So when they have clarity on the outcomes, right, they gather that during the onboarding process with the client. They're going to be responsible for building the plan on how we're going to get there with that client, right? So they're going to build that initial strategy, right? That's not going to remain the strategy for the entire 6 months that we work with that client, or year that we work with that client, whatever it is. And that goes into the second part of their job, right? So onboarding, building the strategy, and then they're managing the execution, and
they're making sure everything goes as planned. They're making sure that the content is recorded. They're making sure that the content is published correctly. They're making sure that the client is satisfied with all the content. They're making sure that everything that we do is aligned with the strategy that they created.
Yes. Everything's going out on time, like you said. And just managing the execution of that strategy, right? Working with Gabriel, working with Jameson, working with Coach Hub, working with Josh, right? To make sure that everything's done on time and everybody knows what they need to do.
Right.
And then, working with that client. And then as we start moving forward, right, things are going to change. We're going to learn a lot. Like, because before we start posting anything, it's all just assumptions, right? But once we start creating the content, getting things out there, that's when we really start learning. And that's when like the skill of being able to identify what's working and why, and what's not working and why, and then adjust the strategy from there. That's what this person is going to be doing. And that's comes from, being just heavily involved in the creation process and with working with the team to produce all of this, but then with the strategy calls with the client, right? Where they're meeting every single month, they're going to be doing that. So that comes in with like, they're going to be the main point of contact between the clients and us.
Yeah. I mean, us producing content for our content management clients, I mean, that first month really is a trial period. I mean, we really don't know what's going to work, what's not going to work. We're utilizing that first month as, let's figure out, let's just get started. Let's start posting. Let's utilize the strategy that we've come up with. And then, after that first month.
In that first month, we're just applying everything that we've learned for every other client that we've worked for you. But everybody's different, right? Every business is different. Every target audience is different. Everybody is different. So, the real learning comes when we start.
Would you recommend a client signs a 1-month contract with us, or would you say sign a 6-month contract?
I mean, 6 months, right? I believe in the service that we have to provide, but I understand that this is brand new for a lot of people, right? And a lot of people maybe haven't been on camera before, haven't done a podcast before, haven't created content before, so they want to try it out, right? And that's why with our packages, right, like we have that like 30-day trial period. It's like, all right, at the end of this 30 days, if this isn't for you, like that's totally fine, like we're gonna move on. I think with our guarantee, with our service, like I know that we have like the 30-day, like if you're not satisfied, you get your money back, right? But I think almost something that we should explore is something that I learned from a guy who's in that mastermind group that we're in. It's like, all right, we have this set outcome that we want to accomplish. If we don't accomplish that in our 6-month contract with you, we're going to continue to work for you for free until we get it.
I like that.
Right? I think that one's like way stronger. And
what's
we get to like
an outcome? Like what, like grow following or close?
Like could be following. I don't know if that I think that wouldn't be what I would recommend to a client.
The hardest
what
thing,
are followers? Like followers are kind of meaningless, right? Like you want that conversion, right? You want the return on their investment. Right.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, the hardest thing that we've run into, especially with the real estate side of things, especially with real estate clients that we worked with, is trying to convert followers into an actual client, because real estate's such a long sales cycle to begin with, where trying to convert a cold lead into a buyer or seller is extremely difficult, because someone buying or selling their house is one of the biggest financial decisions that someone will ever make. And we're trying to get someone to just trust you of the content that they see on your social media. That's extremely difficult.
Yeah. That's why not the only thing you can't only just post content, right? There's more that has to go into that. And that's something that we've learned.
Part of it comes from that. Since we're on the topic of real estate, part of it comes from the real estate agent as well, because we can only post the polished content where, honestly, I think in my opinion, from a real estate agent's perspective, the unpolished content is way more important than the polished content. I think there definitely needs to be a healthy balance, but someone's way more likely to connect with someone if they're going to pull out their phone and be like, hey, I'm here at this address.
It's just more approachable.
I'm showing exactly where a real estate agent doesn't have the luxury of having lights and camera on them every single day.
Right. But I would say, you definitely need both. Like you need the volume
of
1000% high quality content, but then for like that real authentic connection, you kind of need that.
Right. I mean, if you look professional, like videos that we've done for our clients in the past, where whether it's a company profile video or whether it's a really high-end listing video, that definitely stands out, because you're going to be able to repurpose that, and you're going to be able to show your clients that down the line, where they're going to see you in that professional.
And that's just like a whole other like thing that I think we should put together, is especially because we work with so many real estate agents, right? The client journey for real estate agents.
I'm sorry, but I have to say this. I feel like since we do work with so many real estate agents, I feel like there's not one here doing social media at a high level. If you look at any other market like Palm Beach, or if you look at California, or if you look at New York, take Ryan Serhant, for example, these people preach it. These people They have to do it. No one here feels as if they have to do it. I mean, this kind of goes back to some clients that we worked with in the past. They care about the good looking thumbnails, and they care about, like, granted, I think that's important. I think we've learned that where, we want your page to look good, but they're completely focused on the wrong type of content that's actually going to get you results. I mean, so many people just post the Canva templates or
that stuff does
nothing for you. Nothing for you. If you're a regular business, that does nothing for you.
Absolutely nothing. And there's so many businesses that offer that like charge thousands of dollars a month.
I mean, there's agencies doing it here in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, a ton of them.
There's so many agencies.
That's 95% of. I mean, I don't know. I don't have the actual stats, but it's a hefty majority of social media businesses.
So many agencies work with clients here in Milwaukee as well, where I feel like, and I think this honestly probably all over the United States, because we've experienced it with numerous clients. Yeah, they're a social media agency, but they don't shoot any content. Like they don't shoot. We're a full service media agency, and they don't shoot any content on their. They don't have any cameras. Like they're literally just utilizing Canva. Canva posts. Canva posts get results, I guess.
I don't get it, really.
It's insane.
I don't understand. But that was a good point. But where were we at?
We were talking about the client content director, about what they were going to be doing.
So I think where this all started is like, we're really going to start to see results once we start actually publishing content for you. It's like, so it's the Mike Tyson quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right? That applied to content creation is like, all right, we're going to come up with this initial plan during the onboarding process, but that could all change once we start putting things out, right? But once we start putting things out, this person needs to be really good at, again, identifying what's working and why, right? That why is so critical, and what's not working, again, and why. And then what are we going to do differently moving forward, right? And that's why it's so critical to have that monthly strategy call where we look back, we reflect, we take that intentional time to reflect and learn from the experience that we've had and the data that we've gathered. And then we spend the second half of that call planning and preparing for the next month. And like, here's what we're going to do differently. Here's now the plan that I've come up with as client content director, based on what we've learned, for this next month coming up. This is the content that we're going to create. This is when we're going to shoot it at our content shoot. Again, that's on a recurring schedule. And, so they're onboarding the clients, coming up with that initial strategy, just gaining a really super clear understanding of who this client is, what they want to achieve, who they want to connect with, and then managing the execution, right? Working with the client ongoing, like to make sure that everything's done on time. And then the third really big piece of this job is they're going to be spearheading the improvements to our content management service and our division overall.
It's a big job.
It is a big job. Yeah, for sure. Like they're going to be the one, like their tier 2 angle is what we call it. Like tier 2 comes from the Eisenhower matrix, right? There's tier 1, it's urgent and important. That's stuff that needs to get done right now. That's like shoots that are on the calendar. That's direct service delivery work, right? Just like the work that needs to be get done on behalf of a client or whatever. And then tier 2 is important but not urgent. And that's stuff that needs to get scheduled. It is hard. It's hard to find the time. It's stuff that you need to like time block for. And it's stuff where like we all need to hold each other accountable to make sure that stuff gets done, right? Because we need to create our own artificial urgency to getting those things done. Because then, the Parkinson's law comes into effect where the time to complete a task will inflate to the deadline for that task. So we need to create those artificial deadlines and artificial urgency through holding each other accountable in order to get those tier 2 tasks completed, right? So that's the tier 2 angle, again, for the client content director, is just going to be focusing on how can we make the content management service better, right? Because our whole goal with this is to provide undeniable results with this service. It's not there today, right? But we're getting there. We're getting there for sure. We're making progress every single day. Yep, we're climbing up the mountain. Yep. But our end goal with this service is to provide undeniable results for our clients.
Absolutely.
Like, undeniably great service. Like we're never gonna. The whole answer of like one of our core values, right, is it's always day one, right? What does that mean?
We're earning your business every single day. We are going to do whatever it takes. We're going to do whatever it takes to keep you satisfied. We always want to go the extra mile because we feel as if once we get comfortable with you and
once it becomes day 2.
Once it becomes day 2, we lost.
Yeah, we stole it directly from Amazon. So one of our core values is it's always day 1. And what does that mean, right? It's we show up to our business every single day with a day one.
We're earning your business.
A day one perspective. Yeah, that's one way to interpret it. I've actually never interpreted it that way. But like
I can remember to the day one when I first started.
That's exactly. Right. Yeah,
it's for sure. I'm going the extra
it's
mile.
That mentality.
I'm blowing off your driveway.
Yeah, it's that mentality. Yeah, it's like it's day one in business, and that can be applied to. It's like we're looking at how we do things, and we're always we're never settling with how things are currently being done. Right. We're not getting married to the process. We're getting married to the outcome. We're not getting married to how we do something. We're getting married to why we're doing it and what we want to accomplish through that. Right. So with that perspective and with that mindset comes like with a lot of reinvention and breaking how we currently do things. Like the whole answer of why do we do it this way, because that's how we've always done it, is banned from our lexicon, right? That's never an excuse to why we are going to do something a certain way. Right? We're always looking for new ways that we can change, improve, get better with every single thing. And everybody on the team is invited to share any idea that they have, any opinion that they have on how we're currently doing something, and how we can change it and how we can get it better. We're not stuck in doing anything a certain way, only the way that we know best, right? And tying that with our other core value of B quality work is bad for the soul, right? We're always committed to doing everything to the best of our ability, right? And we're learning we have to balance that with, deadlines and budget, right? But we definitely have a tendency to over deliver, right? And put too much time and too much effort into something. But I'd rather fall on that side than any other side.
Sometimes sometimes I overpromise too much.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, that's just like a people pleasing tendency, right? Just
1000%.
Saying yes and for sure. For sure. And that's something that we're learning, right? We're learning, we're growing. But I think everything that we just talked about ties into like what are we looking for in this person, right? But I guess finishing the point of, so that's their third big core responsibility, is they're going to be spearheading the improvements to the content management service and the content management division. You're just staring down the barrel on that thing. So that's a big responsibility for them, right? Like I think for this role,
if you are listening to this,
and you want to be the client content director.
If you want to be the client content director, and this sounds interesting,
go to https.
Yes, click the link in our Instagram bio. It's seriously,
I don't know when this is going to come out, because honestly, like we want to have somebody hired by the end of June.
So maybe it's the commercial productions director.
Yeah, that'll be the next hire, is the commercial productions director.
Ooh, don't give them too much
of a sneak peek. Yeah, but so that's like the third big responsibility for this person, is improving. Like 50% of their time, I think, is going to be spent on.
What do you think
service
improving
delivery?
The content management division, like, give us clarity here. What does that look like? Because I think there's overall tier 2 tasks for the business.
Yeah, but for the content management service in general, right? So, for example, like when I look at our service where it is right now, right, we produce a lot of podcasts, right? And something that we've neglected up until this point not neglected, but we just haven't built a solution for, is helping our clients in the preparation process, right? How can we help our clients book guests? How can we help our clients prepare for these conversations?
I want to provide some clarity as well. If you are listening to this, our strategy is just not podcasts. Yeah, I feel like someone might be listening to this right now. It is part of our core strategy, because we ultimately believe that we can utilize podcasts and we can distribute across so many different platforms, which I think is
the most dynamic piece of content.
So unique, because each social platform is made for a different type of content. So I just want to clear that in case anyone is listening to that right now. That is part of our strategy, but everyone's goals for doing social media may be different. Where we talked about this earlier, a face business is going to be a great person for a podcast, but if you're a faceless person,
if you're a restaurant, podcast obviously doesn't make sense.
A podcast does not make sense.
And that's kind of what, going back to like what we were talking about before, right? There's two different types of clients that you can work that in my mind that we're going to have in content management. It's the face business and it's the faceless business, right? The face business is a real estate agent, a financial advisor, a coach, an investor, right? An individual that is hugely responsible for delivering the core service or product for that business. And then the faceless business is like the restaurant, Ironworkers Local 8, shout out Charlie, and
DJ Dead Mouse,
so like a faceless business, like I'm trying to find the right way to really describe this.
A faceless business,
there isn't like one person that's directly responsible for
I think
delivering most of the
I mean, a
services or
restaurant, it
product.
could be I don't know, a convenience store, or
Yeah.
maybe it's
Like
maybe
Quick
it's
Trip.
an e-commerce brand.
Yeah, like the
I think an
bigger
e-commerce
brands.
brand is honestly probably a good
e-commerce,
example.
Yeah, for sure. So that for them, podcast makes no sense,
Right.
right? But they have there's a different mechanism for them. But I think no matter, with those two categories, I think the mechanism is going to look pretty similar no matter what client falls into that category.
All right, we got AJ. We got AJ back rolling up on the site.
Why do you have sunglasses on?
Yeah, we are inside.
It's prime time.
Is it prime time?
It's prime time.
Damn, he's freezing. He's freezing under the pressure.
Ian lost his
I think those are mine. I think he just stole mine.
garbage.
Dude, you lost yours?
I don't know where they are.
Dude.
You gave them to me when I was leaving for Arizona. I had my entire world packed into my car.
One pair of shoes,
Yeah.
one suitcase.
yeah. 12 shirts.
Do you still have that same pair?
Oh, yeah.
7 pairs of wool socks.
Yeah. These things are ripping.
Whole life.
You know it, dude. Keep it simple. Like 5 pairs of black pants. And then those sunglasses. You threw those at me. I couldn't handle it. It was too much.
No, AJ's just rolling up from a day's worth of work. Yeah, he was.
But let's go back. We got to bring this back in, reel it in. So the tier 2 task for the client content director, what does that look like, right? So it's the looking at our service, right? How can we help our clients better prepare for the podcast, right? How can we help them book guests? How can we help them come with questions, right? So then they would come up with a solution for that, come up with a process that we would follow with our clients. Or if we're looking at
tier 2, I think tier 2, honestly, how can we automate more of content management? I think that would be huge.
Just any way that we can improve the content management service or the division as a whole, right?
Yeah.
They're just going to be they're going to be asking themselves that question.
SOPs
whatever they come
or-
up with,
Yeah.
then they're going to take action and make that happen, right? So what are we looking for in a person for this position, right? Number 1 is somebody who can take initiative, right? Because that's the entirety of that last part there is you're gonna have to come up with your own ideas, right? Like with how you can improve. Like obviously we're gonna work together to brainstorm. Like I think we could.
I think
do this
that goes
to get
into
better.
being independent too.
Yeah,
I mean, you're gonna have to be able to
initiative.
create your own schedule where there's gonna be times where you're gonna be juggling a lot.
Yeah,
where
this is gonna be a big job.
This is gonna be a big job where we're not gonna be able to tell you everything to do. We're going to be solely counting on you to create your schedule of how are you going to be able to manage these clients? How are you going to be able to upload podcasts? How are you going to be coming up with a strategy? You're going to be meeting with clients.
Yep.
You're going to, obviously we're going to come into play at some point.
Yeah,
as far
we're
as
going to
like
help out.
clients.
Absolutely.
But,
but really just somebody who can take initiative, who can be independent, who's able to like build their own schedule, right? And not just have to like wait around for somebody to tell them to do something, right? And I think that's, common with everybody on the team, but really, really, really for this position.
Detail focused.
Yeah, somebody, 100%. Just aligns with our core values, right? Somebody who cares about doing really great, high quality work, like cares about doing a good job with everything that is put in front of them, right? Isn't going to half-ass anything, right? Who cares about doing great work, right? Like when they do, the type of person that when they do something that is, they know they didn't give it their best. They know that they could have done better. It like eats at them, right? It eats at them and they think about it, right? And they don't want to submit it, right?
I think someone also who's like hyper creative and also has,
I don't know, like hyper creative. I think seems a bit extreme.
I mean, we want this person. And with a design background for sure.
Design would be huge.
Design for sure.
Design for sure.
They're gonna be designing the page.
Yeah,
like they're gonna.
I don't know. Like, what does a design background mean to you?
Has an understanding in Photoshop, graphic design. I think that's better.
Graphic design. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not super. Personally looking
doing
for that.
what that one guy talked about. Doing what we talked about that one guy.
Yeah, like building the channel art for sure. I think they just like know what looks good. Like they have like strong, like a good. They know what their taste is, right? They know what looks good. Yeah, but I don't think they need to be like. I think we design everything in Canva. Like I don't.
Yeah, we ain't using Canva anymore.
They don't need to be a wizard.
We're not using Canva.
Okay. All right, fair enough. That's TBD.
This person is not using.
Yeah, I think this person needs to be like a good leader, right? Because they're going to be, working with people on our team, right? Like managing people on our team, like putting together their schedules, like working with, like giving feedback, like a strong leader. Yeah, and then just all the other, like permission to play values that we have, right? Somebody who's honest, who has integrity, who's a good person, right? Enjoys being with people, enjoys working with clients.
Right.
It cares about relationships.
They don't care about relationships?
They do care about relationships.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So
kidding.
nonetheless, like we've been interviewing people for the last couple of weeks now. We got a handful of really strong candidates that I'm super excited about. Like we just made it through the phone screen phase with these people. So that's like the initial 30 to, I mean, a lot of these conversations are going to an hour long, which is great. Like I'm just, a lot of these people are easy to talk to.
We had one applicant. They're going to be designing our website.
Yeah. If you're going to apply and if you're going to book a conversation with us, definitely look at the job description before, because that's going to be the first question I ask you. First question I ask you is like, from your perspective, what are the responsibilities of this role?
What inspires you?
Yeah. If you don't, I don't ask them
I'm
that.
kidding.
Yeah, know what the job is for sure.
1000%.
Yeah.
Kind of looking ahead, we're going to overall wrap this up. Wrap this up 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Looking at the week ahead.
Less than 5 minutes.
Looking at next week. Next week
so this is a little tradition that we want to start. We want to do these weekly or bi-weekly, right? But just touching base with like
ending the week with these.
Ending the week is fun. This is fun. So give me one thing from this week that was awesome and one thing about next week that you're excited about.
One thing about this week. Let me start with next week.
Okay, start with next week.
Next week, Jameson and I, we are headed to Bay Harbor, Michigan to work with Centerpoint. That should be an incredible shoot. We're taking a yacht across Lake Michigan, and then we are going to be coming back on a prop plane. So hope we don't die.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy. That's going to be nuts.
And then this week, we finished up Ironworkers Local 8's website.
Oh,
just
yeah.
about. That's a big milestone. First
great.
website.
Yeah.
First website we completed.
Yeah, for real.
That's a big one.
And it does look phenomenal.
And I think, honestly, going into websites, we may have found a solution to start providing websites.
Yeah, Anton's the man, dude.
Flywheel,
local flywheel. Yeah, quiet. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Anthony's incredible. He's a wizard with that stuff.
Yeah.
That was huge.
One.
That was huge. That was a really fun conversation. And me seeing it for the first time, it looks phenomenal.
That was your first time seeing it?
Since like the original outline. I hadn't seen it since the original outline.
Some long hours on that.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Okay. For me, this week, there's a lot of stuff I thought was really, really fun. First thing, Jameson, Gabriel, and I had a shoot with Ironworkers Local 8, member story shoot. Gabriel did an incredible job putting together the scene, and like Gabriel and Jameson, I'll give them both credit, but I think it was more Gabriel's vision on how everything was going to get set up. That was awesome. Looks super, super nice. Like it looks straight out of a documentary. And that was a lot of fun. Like meeting those guys. Ironworkers are crazy people, and like crazy in a good way. Like they're just wild men.
Men.
So they were
wild man from
super
the West.
Fun. Meeting Charlie in person, that was cool.
That was
too.
your first time meeting Charlie?
Yeah, I met him the day before.
DJ
that.
Deadmau5.
Yeah, DJ Deadmau5.
We got to get him on here.
Yeah. Charlie on the pod would be great. Then after that, I had a really great onboarding call with Adam Zastro yesterday. So excited to get started with him. Then we had Alexis. We got connected with Alexis this week.
Oh, yeah.
We got her onboarding booked for next week. So really excited. It's our first lawyer that we're doing content
Criminal
for.
defense
attorney. So that's going to be super, super fun working with her. And she's got her own audience. She's been doing a lot of stuff on her own already. So she's got a pretty big audience already. So that's fun. Next week, I mean, that was a good segue. I'm really excited for that onboarding conversation with Alexis. Pumped for that. The shoot that you guys are going to Michigan, I mean, next week might be the busiest week that we've ever had in the history of our business, dude. Dude, you guys are going to be gone on a 2-day, like a full day shoot, one of the days, coming back in the morning. We have 3 content shoots.
Damn.
We're onboarding a new client. I have a bunch of interviews with client content directors. We got the company profile shoot with Kate Berry.
We're shooting an absolute mega mansion in Madison.
Yeah, on Thursday. Yep. So a lot to be excited about for next week. I'm excited for the test of like all of this.
I don't know if it's the biggest.
It's pretty big, dude.
I remember one week we had like one day.
I mean, we had 15 listing shoots, right? Yeah, that's a lot. But yeah.
That was like every day.
It was a lot. And it was just you and I at that point. You, me, and Dane. It was ridiculous. Cool. Thanks for picking. If you stuck with us all the way to this point.
We appreciate you.
You're awesome.
What are we ending this with? The podcast.
The podcast.
The podcast.
Podcast. Cool. I appreciate you.